In this episode, you'll discover a progressive approach to learning the catch.
Feel the grip of the oar handle, smooth yet firm in your hands. Taste the salt of your own sweat and the occasional splash of water. It's all part of the journey. Welcome to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. Each week, our host, Masters Rowing Coach Rebecca Caro, dives deep into the world of Masters Rowing. Whether you're on the water or in the gym, join us to become a faster master. Let's go rowing.
Hey everybody, I'm Rebecca Caro. It's good to be back. And today we're going to talk about the catch. Michael Merwin and I were having a chat. So Michael is the owner of the software firm Boathouse Connect. And one of his athletes said to him, "Am I done learning the stroke yet?" And of course, as experienced coaches, we both laughed. And the conversation moved on. Now, the catch is a fantastically challenging part of the stroke to learn. And so we talked through a progressive series of focus points supported with drills. Now, regular listeners will know we just released a drills compendium product where you can buy 24 separate videos of different drills plus bonus 3 ebooks to help you with your coaching practice. And the way Michael uses these is he sends out the drill focus for the crew the night before. So they all watch the videos and they're short. They're 1 to 3 minutes in length. So they know what they should be doing. And more importantly, as masters, they know why this drill is useful and how it will help them with a particular part of the stroke. Remember, most drills fall into 2 categories: exaggeration drills or isolation drills. Now, you guys all know that already. Our discussion about the progressively learning the catch started with understanding the handle height and how the handle works through the stroke. So Michael's description of the handle is that it runs at a particular height through the power phase. You then tap down to take the oar out of the water. It runs at a lower height through the recovery phase and then ramps upwards in a diagonal line to the first height, which is the correct depth for the power phase. And we were using this words ramping up or going up the ramp as a way of helping athletes to teach how high the handles need to be at the catch. It's worth teaching that stationary so that you figure out exactly how high the handles need to be. Put the oars flat on the water when you're at full compression at the catch, and the handle height is the same regardless of whether the oar is squared or feathered. Now, to teach people how to arrive at that handle height just before the placement, we used a drill called slap catches. And that helps you to ensure that the handle is at this correct height, because by leaving the blade feathered and making a loud slap noise as the blade spoon hits the water, the athlete knows the precise moment that their oar handle reaches the correct height, and they get an oral notification as well, so that if you can't hear, for example, simultaneous slaps on both sides of the boat, you've got a timing issue, and that helps them to work out when you should start going up the ramp. Our next stage of the progression is making a shape at the catch. So your handle might be going on an upward ramp, but you actually have to actively lift your hands and make that movement. And so making the shape and working out when to make the shape is the next stage in the progressive learning. When you have squared your blade, if you make the shape too early, what will happen is your oar will hit the water before you get to full slide. Similarly, if you square and your handle is too high on the recovery, remember I talked about the height of the handle at the recovery versus on the power phase. Again, your oar will hit the water when you're squaring. So an early square helps, and it helps to figure out exactly how low your handle needs to be. So ideally, you could be rowing squared or feathered blades, and the handle height doesn't change. So when to make the shape and to be active about it, the second drill that we introduced in our discussion was backsplash. And that's where the lower edge of the spoon of the blade actually touches the water just as you are making the shape and lifting the handle to go in. And that's really helpful because, again, there's an auditory element, but also you can feel in the handle maybe reverberation isn't quite the right word, but you can feel the oar touching the water. If your oar doesn't make a backsplash, doesn't clip the water just before it goes in, you haven't lifted your handle early enough. Then we started our next stage, which was thinking about catch timing. So the timing of the catch is relative to your body movement and the seat. The seat is a good proxy for your body movement because there is a precise moment where the seat rolls forward and then changes direction. And that moment of change of direction, ideally, is when you want the oar to already be under the water. So the drill that we introduced here was to have half the crew sitting in the boat and half the crew rowing square blades. And in a sweep boat, we did it by taking the inside hand off the oar handle and putting it behind your back so your inside hand holds the back of the seat. And as you row, and you're just rowing full slide, square blade rowing, your hand holding the back of the seat can feel the moment where the seat changes direction. Now, in a sculling boat, you can't take one hand off and still row with both blades, but you could do it just with one blade. Just push the other oar out to the side of the boat and row with one hand and let the other hand hold the seat, and then maybe you want to swap. But once you've got that feeling of what does it feel like when the seat changes direction, you can actually take your hand off the back of the seat, and then you should still be able to notice the feeling because you can feel it through where you're sitting. And sometimes you can hear the wheels on the seat turning. Now, the wheels go silent at the moment that your seat changes direction. So there's that very, very quick moment of silence that you can listen for. The other visual point which an athlete can see is the height of your knees, because as you come up the slide, your knees rise until they get to a high point, and that is when you're at full compression, and then your knees start to fall. So you can also time your catch placement off your knees. So holding the back of the seat is the drill that we used for the catch timing. And the last thing we looked at was how to place the oar in the water before you change direction, and how to keep the handle traveling towards the stern while you're making the catch placement. Now, that's a much more detailed discussion that is best left for another day. But if you want to know how Michael and I thrashed this one out between us, join the Coach Mastermind group. The recording of our October Mastermind is already present. It costs $10 for the first month. And you will also get all of the drills available for you if you join that particular group. So progressively learning the catch, something you can't probably do in a single workout, but it is definitely the case that you can do probably 2 of those drills. I always like to do drills 3 times in a single practice in order to really reinforce them with my athletes. And take care that the athletes really understand the why as well as the how. If you're listening to this podcast, you might want to join the Faster Masters Rowing newsletter. Over 7,000 people from around the world or on our newsletter. It's full of useful information for masters. Sometimes it's coaching, sometimes it's just life information about how to age well. Sometimes it's got stuff about how to run a club or a group or how to race. I very much hope that you will share the link if you go to our website, fastermastersrowing.com/newsletter, and join up your friends and relations. We always welcome more people. Till next time.
We are part of the RowingChat podcast network. Please tell your fellow rowers about the show. If you've learned just one helpful thing from today's episode, please consider supporting the show for as little as $1 per month by visiting fastermastersrowing.com/podcast.